Hi, David.
Hi, Nicole.
It's so loud.
I think this is a good register. Mm-hmm. I would encourage people, if they want, also to come closer. I do love when I like proximity. It makes me feel a little less anxious on stage. But also, if you prefer distance, I respect that, and I want you to stay where you are. But for anyone who's comfortable, move up. Mm-hmm. Thank you, SY, for hosting us and for for the introduction. Sam, Rec, for
Yes, thank you, Sam.
Everything.
Making it happen.
In my life.
And mine. Yeah. Everything's because of Sam.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sam is the fulcrum. I'm sure we'll talk about him in this. And yeah, is there anybody else? Jadine, who's here from the MCA, really incredible force.
Yeah, Jadine rocks. Jadine, Jadine, I love you. It's been amazing working with you. I'm so pleased to know you and hope we continue a friendship forever.
Will you still be friends with Nicole after this, Jadine? No. So this is, it's great to be doing it here. I'm curious, just a show of hands too, who here has had a chance to see the show, which only opened today, so it might not be many of you, but actually a lot of you.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so it's not going to be just...
Not everyone, but a good many.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We could pass the catalog around.
Totally, yeah.
It'll take a long time to get around, but...
But that's good. So people know Nicole's work and know the show a little bit here. So
does anybody not know my work?
Yeah, is there anybody who doesn't know who Nicole Eisenman is?
Let's go see this artist talk. I don't know who the fuck she is. She might be interesting.
You are.
Okay.
Okay, so preamble. This is the third stop and the final stop in your mid-career retrospective.
It is, yeah. This show started at the Brandhorst Museum in Munich and went to the Whitechapel Gallery in London, found its way to Chicago.
Yeah.
And Monica Wormuth-Bear is here from Munich, who curated the show. She was like, you've really helped form this show, so thank you. Hi, Monica.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't, thank you, Monica. I didn't see you. Totally.
All the way from Munich to Chicago. There is a direct flight if any of you want to go there and visit the birthplace of National Socialism. It's great art and really nice parks.
It's true, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was a really beautiful iteration of the show. Each version of the show it's been kind of this, there's been similar parts, but there's been a different sculptural component that has anchored each one. The Munich version had this piece Procession, which was debuted at the Whitney Biennial in 2019, and is just one of my favorite works of yours and in general. Then in London, it was Maker's Muck, which is this more...
more mucky and more about like art practice. And studio life, the life of the creator, the artist. Yeah.
And here we have Edie the Destroyer as the sculptural.
Yeah, here we got the crane with the wrecking ball, which was originally at Hauser and Wirth in New York. And they had just built a new building on 23rd Street, this very large, expensive-looking building. And the idea was to go in there with a wrecking ball and smash all the walls, and that would be like and then hang the paintings up on top of the smashed walls. It turns out their walls are really expensive, and they're not just regular sheetrock. It's like, I don't know, expensive sheetrock or something. So we couldn't, I don't know what it was, but we couldn't smash the walls. But it was up there.
I didn't know that. Wait, did you propose that here too as a possibility?
I didn't even bother. I've been so beaten down by the institutions. I didn't even yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I'm joking. I didn't. I don't think the piece needs that, and it's it's kind of complicated, I think, to actually use that thing as a wrecking ball. I think we would need more space than we have in that small space. So, yeah.
The sculptural component is, I mean, there's not, so you get some sculpture, but unfortunately, or, whatever, there's so much of your recent practice is sculpture, which I love, and there's not a lot of it in the show. You have very specific examples. It's mostly focusing on your paintings and drawings. Yeah. And so it's, I think there that I want to start.
Yeah.
There's something that I noticed in going through the show. The show is broken up into 8 chapters, more or less, and they have the kinds of thematic overlays that are very, I think that are meant to be open to a broader public, but to me, it's hard to, knowing you, it doesn't feel, it feels artificial, and so I went through and tried to see the show in a different way, and the thing that popped up to me that I wanted to ask you about is that it starts in the early 90s. You have these fantastic drawings, lots of lesbian cannibalism, polycule situations. Yeah. And then at the end, you have these other group portraits that are much more differentiated, and they have, it's just there's a maturity to them. You can really chart the maturity of how you populate your images. But in the middle, and this is where I got really interested, there was this period around the time of, this is 1992, lesbian recruitment booth.
Yeah. The idea was you could bring your kid or bring yourself to the lesbian recruitment booth and sign up for the. There was another one that was a lesbian kissing booth where you could pay money to try it out and see if it was your bag. Which seems.
Did you actually have a lesbian kissing booth?
I mean, it's somewhere along the lines. I definitely have, but I can't. Yeah, I'm not. Yes, I have.
I was like, should I ask this now or another time in private? But how many lesbians have you recruited over the years that you know of?
I mean, we know of one. Definitely one big one.
Yeah. That's an important one.
An important lesbian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have a few notches in my recruitment belt.
Yeah, I feel like you have more than one, but.
But also, there might be some people who look at the work and be like, "Oh yeah, that looks groovy," and then so I don't know. Yeah.
Afterwards, maybe people here, if they've been recruited by Nicole without your knowing, can let you know. Back to charting, back to my attempt at a thematic intervention. In 2004, there's a painting from success to obscurity. Some of you, I don't need the slide because it's on the cover of this book. And it's this character, the Thing, who has this letter that says "Dear Obscurity" to it. Yeah.
Did it blow out? Yeah. Okay. Is the questions about obscurity?
The question can be about obscurity. Yeah. Well.
No.
Yes. But.
Oh, but yeah, just that period of time. We're talking about this period of time between 2004 and 2007, or 2003 to 2007. I mean, actually, I would probably date it like this interstitial period where can everybody hear me? Okay, so it's okay. Yeah, there was a kind of I don't know. I mean, I think careers and lives, there's a rhythm to your life of you know, there's like times of like, you know, happening and excitement and, you know, a kind of, oh, we're gonna swap them out. Hi. And then these kind of like, you know, the field has to rest periods. And yeah, so I think after 9/11, 2001, I moved upstate. I left the city, which was so weird. I don't know why I did that, but I was like, I'm gonna try something different. And I moved upstate to somewhere near Bard College in the Hudson Valley. And I was also, I think I was ready at the end of the 90s to kind of give up a part of my practice. That's sort of like doing these murals. Whenever I had a show, I would like do a mural and then they would get painted over at the end of the show and I would lose the painting. And then the bulk of my practice was drawing. So a lot of it felt ephemeral and I was like, okay, it's time to like paint, really paint. I mean, I did paint in the 90s, but I wasn't that good or focused on it. And I sort of was like, I'm gonna hunker down. I'm gonna go upstate and hunker down and learn to paint. And that's when I painted that obscurity painting. I had also left my gallery and things were just quieting down. I mean, when you pop on the scene, there's a lot of attention and then you're not a freshman anymore, you're a sophomore and you have to kind of figure out how to do it. Things just got really quiet, you know, like there was a year when the phone didn't ring and I was like, oh, they don't love me anymore. I don't know, whatever, yeah. I mean, it felt sort of like I had left and was turned away at the same time. So, I don't know, I was trying to paint and I was looking at, I don't know, looking at art history, I started looking more at what people had done to kind of get hints of like ways in.
What did that process look like for
I
you?
mean, that process was like going to the Strand and finding random books on expressionist painters and like digging in, you know, to art history that way and going to museums, of course. But I don't know, drawing, I recognized something in my drawing which was a kind of openness and looseness and fluidity that when I went to paint I would just like clamp up. And I learned to paint when I was a student in Italy, and my early paintings were all very sort of northern Italian kind of influence. There's wet into wet and very like carefully done and you know, hyper attention to detail and like making things look like they look. And it was really hard. I was really, you know, to have this kind of bifurcated practice. So I was trying to figure out how to make the paintings behave more like my drawings.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you did that by going upstate,
Yeah.
separating from the communities that you were active in, the queer communities you were active in New York.
Yeah. I mean, it was a quiet period, and honestly, I felt really alone up there, and I had a cat, and I like would garden, and I would go to like yoga classes in town with all the like yoga women, and just stay late at class to see if I could talk to anybody. It was like desperate time. It was pretty fucking desperate. But yeah, I was pretty bored up there, but I didn't, you know, I think the project was like, I was making a lot of really bad paintings. And I couldn't figure out what it was about drawing, like what it was that I was doing, like what is the qualitative difference, like what makes a drawing loose and open and feel easy when you're just making a few marks, and why that doesn't work that way necessarily when you're painting. So just kind of trying to break it down. Mm-hmm. And eventually I came back to the city. I was upstate for 2 years. I came back, and I think things did start picking up some steam around 2007. I don't know what actually happened. I think it had something to do with being back in community and being with my friends who were all painters and creators. You know, being with A.L. Steiner and Ulrike Mueller and A.K. Burns and...
So just to like reference, this is 2007. This is
Yeah,
the therapy session.
Yeah.
The session. And it is it is part of this, like in the show, the works from 2004 to 2000 until like 2008, like right after this, they're all like solo, like pretty, or like very hermetic works. They're not groups.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, what I'm interested in. You start off in New York in the 90s, and I actually want to hear about that, like the Fun and Danger first room.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Now I'm getting what you're saying.
Okay, what am I getting at?
You're saying that in the 90s, I was in community in New York, and there was this like very fun and rowdy group of lesbians and queer people I hung out with, and the work was like rowdy and like lively and crowded. And then I went upstate and the work emptied out. It was just single fingers, just me.
Yeah.
And then I came back to New York and it filled up again.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got that. Thank you.
But there's, and in that there's like technical, like transformations, like incredible technical transformations, and that's like also exciting to me. Like, it's such a like, you know, it's like that's the course, right? You like start here, you like you go into exile or whatever you want to call upstate.
Yeah, I had to go out into the wilderness. It was the hero's journey.
You had a hero's journey.
And the yoga class was like the bottom of the cycle, and then I came back up and was reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'm like, so, I mean, maybe for like personal reasons, I'm just like, what does that hero's journey look like? Can we all have that? I don't know.
Yeah, can we all? Yeah, I
Can
don't
it all
know.
be so
I mean,
productive?
I think coming back to New York and finding this community, finding this group of friends, of creative makers, was enormous for me. And
Could
yeah.
you tell me a little bit about what that community looked like for you at the beginning, and what it looked like for you when you returned, and maybe who was still a part of it? Or
I mean, in the 90s, it was like, I didn't know any painters. I don't even know that I was really hanging out with like art people who aspired to make art. I had like, my best friends I had a friend who was a photographer, two friends who were photographers who both did commercial work. I was friends with like filmmakers. Lisa Cheladenko was around. Writers like Eileen Miles and Lori Weeks, and Charlie Atlas, who at the time wasn't really making art. I didn't think of him as an artist. I mean, he was like in all the clubs filming, and he was doing stuff, but he wasn't showing it anywhere ever, it seemed. Like, he was working with Lee Bowery and Michael Clark, but it was really just kind of, I don't know where he showed it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw it just because he showed it to us. I don't know who else was around. It wasn't like super art world, you know, we weren't pointed in that direction. We were just kind of pointed towards ourselves.
Were they like neighbors and stuff? I mean, it was a queer community, but it was people you knew because you saw them where?
I don't know. You know, how we found each other. I mean, I moved to New York, and there was like, and actually Suzanne Wright, you would remember this. My good friend, old friend Suzanne Wright is here, and there was like a lesbian football game on the weekends. Do you remember that? And I think I met a lot of people. We would play tackle football, and every week somebody would get really hurt. We had to stop because there was terrible injuries, and then we just had like a drinking party every Sunday afternoon where we would arm wrestle. We were such lesbians. Yeah, it was really. You want me to talk closer? Oh my gosh.
Like to here?
Do we need to start the talk over again?
I know, do you want us to start over? to.
Okay. Now I
Okay.
feel really loud, but
I know.
okay, fine. So that's what that looked like. I mean, at some point, I kind of separated from the group and went on my own, like, you know, joyride to hell by myself, like doing drugs for a long time. And so, you know, this period of like, I don't know, being alone. I mean, I think I kind of was slowly isolating myself. And I think by the time I got off of drugs, a lot of my friends from the 90s, like, I wasn't with them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of separated myself. And then I had some weird years. I lived at the Chelsea Hotel. That was a very lonely year. And then I met Victoria, my ex, my dear beloved ex, and that kind of, I came back to like the world again with her. And we together went upstate. I was alone up there because she had a job in the city and she was really not there very much. But does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when I came back to the city and I met, you know, in the early aughts, and I met this community that was like LTTR, it was like J.D. Sampson and Every Ocean and A.K. Burns and all of these, like, they're all, you know, 10 years younger than me, but I was like, suddenly I had like friends again. And that was cute. And it was nice for me. I don't know. But I think, who was it? It was Celeste Dupree Spencer and Ulrika had a drawing night at a studio, and they called it Farts. It was Friends of the Fine Arts. And we would do a fart session every week. And that was like, and then kind of like, I don't know, we were very close. We were like very knit in to each other's lives.
Yeah.
And Steiner, of course, so.
And I think, I mean, this is in my experience of you, and this is my experience of, I think, the beautiful registers of queerness, you know, the possibility of intergenerational friendships that like have like a lot of like fluidity and duration. And you're able to metabolize that in this way that is very powerful, especially for those of us in that community to see, you know, ourselves represented. I mean, that's maybe too flattening of a word, but it's something about the way that you process it through your art that is, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I mean, one thing about intergenerational friendship, you know, when I moved to New York, being friends with Charlie and there was, you know, and Dance Noise, Annie and Lucy, and Lori Weeks, and Eileen, all of these guys are 10 years older than me. And I always felt like, I was always looking up to them. I was like, oh my God, you guys are so cool. I was like so shy, but I was like, they were my crew. But, you know, then coming back to New York, it flipped, and I was the older one. And it kind of gets more astonishing every year. Like, we won't talk about aging. That's another conversation.
Why not? Oh my God.
Or we could. But it sounded like you were starting on another tangent, but maybe.
No, I'm just very interested in this question of like who your audience is and how it transforms over time, because I think that, you know, to me, when I like look at art, one of the first things I think of is like, who is the audience? Who is the artist imagining this for in their head? You know, and you know, that can be history. You know, some people are very like grandiose in that way. They're like, I just wanted to be history. And some people are like, it's for this person. Yeah. I tend to be more attracted to artists, like just in my own nature, that I can tell it's like more for a person or a group of people. Yeah. And so I guess I'm curious. Yeah, like I see like the images of, well, this is a Seder, which is your family, which is very sweet.
There's my mom in the middle, and she's here with the the beautiful
my
woman
God,
in
we
the
didn't thank
second row.
Thank you, Nicole's mom.
Kay Eisenman. Thank you, Mom. Yay.
But then you come to like A.K. Burns in The Beer Garden, which is such like a incredible work. The Beer Garden works are like the ones where like I just want to like cry. It's like 2009, and you start to like see like I don't know. You start seeing like this.
Well, I'll tell you, I was like 2007, I think I did one of the first Beer Garden, and it was my daughter George was in utero, and I was like, oh my God, my life is about to change. I'm not gonna be able to socialize anymore. I'm gonna be like at home with a kid. This is it. Goodbye, dear world. And I was painting those paintings as a kind of homage and with a sense of nostalgia for the life I was about to leave, because I thought that's what it meant to have a baby, which of course is not really the case at all. But I started thinking about like how important my community was to me, because I had this idea that I was having to leave it again. But and it was also a time in New York where, I don't know, it was a really special time, especially in Brooklyn and Williamsburg, for queer people. Like, there was the Metropolitan Bar, and everybody went there, and it was just so normal and easy. Like to have a bar in your backyard, that's a nice place to go.
That's interesting. That's so beautiful. I never thought about that as it being like actually in some ways nostalgic for something, or like coming out of kind of an anxiety of losing it. But it also relates, of course. I mean, because one of the most transitional works that I think, or that it seems like to me, is Coping, which is this image which I think maybe flashes around, which is 2008. And there's in the middle of Coping, which is like this kind of street scene, people like, well, you'll see it.
It's like mucking around, or like trying to sludge through the mud, the muck. In the middle
of it, like, is your dad pointing you in a direction, and you have George.
So corny.
You're carrying George. Isn't that corny? It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it is.
Or it's both.
It was, I was coping. I mean, I think I felt very overwhelmed at that moment. And there was other stuff going on in the world. There was like a financial crisis, which wasn't really making, the subprime mortgage shit that happened. So there was a lot of pain in like the atmosphere. Like, people were hurting, but that wasn't necessarily what was going on in my life. But in my life, there was a sense of being overwhelmed. And I think, I don't know, having a sense of also my father's mortality and having a little baby, and I don't know, in the painting he's pointing a certain direction and I'm holding the baby, and it's a kind of wishful thinking. It's kind of making manifest a kind of hope that I could be guided by somebody. That somebody can help you find your way through life, which is not really possible. Like, you kind of have to figure it out. You have community and you have loved ones to bolster you up through all the stupid decisions you make, but ultimately you're kind of guiding yourself in a way. And it's, but it was a kind of hopeful, kind of like a gesture of like, like Freud would say, dream fulfillment, trying to make manifest something I wanted at that moment,
Could we talk a little bit about Another Green World, which is behind us here, which is later? This is 2015. It's another like party scene, but it's 6 years after the beer gardens. So I'm curious where you were maybe in your relationship to queer sociality at that point.
Yeah, what year is this? 2015.
15. Yeah.
Well, Yeah, I don't know. The party was in full swing.
But did you feel at that point like, oh, I mean, had you resolved at that point like, oh, I don't have to give this up? In other words,
Yeah,
this
I
image
think
is like
so.
from the, oh my God, I might have to give this up
Yeah,
period.
this was and also, I'll tell you the other thing was I was coming back to New York and kind of back into the world from a very sort of, not necessarily lonely, but it was a more isolated place. And even in my relationship with Victoria, I think we were not so super social. When we socialized, people came to our house. We weren't out in the world a lot. But it was a way, I'm remembering now, like inviting AK to my studio, and I had just met AK. I didn't know them at all. And it was like, oh, I could like ask you to come over. And like, it's such a funny, and you could sit for me and we can like look at each other for 2 hours and I could paint you from life. And they did, and we became friends. And it was a way of like, I don't know, finding my, the way of like finding my way towards people I liked, So, and this is Ulrika, and that's Celeste, and my friend Mark Turgeon and Steiner is behind her, and I'm in the top hat, and then in the way back, I think Leo Koenig is in one of these paintings, and Torben Geller, who was an artist at Leo's. But
So
yeah, no, that's it.
In some ways, it's like it goes from depicting a community to actually like inviting it or making it happen. Like the paintings in fact become part of the actual.
The paintings were part of the community building for me, of me building my community. And I think the paintings then became very reflective of the community at the same time. Mm-hmm. Because I was using my friends and we were together. I didn't think of it that way at the time, but it is, on retrospect, kind of community, a kind of marker of a community in a time, mm-hmm. and a kind of cementing of this community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Another Green World, I'm just curious, was there a specific, was that from a specific night or party, or was it something that you like cobbled together from many different things?
Yeah, it was an amalgamation. There is a painting that's not in this show that was of a specific party, and I had done a parquet issue, and my parquet issue, I asked like 5 poets to respond to my work instead of writers, and so after that came out, I had a party just with the poets, and it was Ariana Reins and Matt Longabuco, Erica Kaufman. It was one other. Anyhow, we had a party, and we ended up at the end of the night, I was telling you about this last night, like under the table, literally under my dining room table, and at like 6 a.m, Ariana Reins is giving us this beautiful lecture about Proust. It was a very special night, and then everyone was, I think everybody was doing like Molly or some, I don't know, whatever you kids call it now. And I was sort of fake doing it, but and there was a giant salami on the table. So that was a painting of a party that actually happened. This one was a kind of dream, like, Cyrus and Willa, my friend Cyrus, and those two were in that painting. Now it's gone. They were right in the lower corner. Actually, maybe you could put it back up.
Another Green World.
Yeah. Yeah, these two. That's Willa, Cyrus.
I didn't know the Cyrus and Willa. Wait.
The person holding the album is Zanny Allport.
Yeah.
Who was working in my studio with me. Thomas Eisenman is in this painting. Where's Thomas? He's here. Yo, Thomas.
Hi,
Thomas is cutting the salami. So I don't know. It's just like Sadie Coles is in the corner.
Oh, wow, this is actually
so. There's some real people, some not real people.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of an ideal party. It's a sort of like a dream. Who I want there?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, I think it's definitely part of like a you know, I mean, it's an ideal image of a party for me.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I like that seeing that painting again yesterday, the day before, for the first time in a long time was really astonishing. I was like, oh, yeah. It felt, that painting feels really good to me still to see. It's like a lot of the paintings, you know, I can get the feeling I had when I painted them back pretty easily, and there was a lot of, I don't know, it was so well structured, that painting, like the drawing that it hung on was put together really well, that I was able to be super loose, stay loose with the paint. It's like a fluid, loose, but really structured painting. And yeah, it felt like I kind of got it right on that one. It's nice to see it.
in the show,
Some of them I don't feel, a lot of them I don't feel that way.
what's the one you don't like?
I mean, there's some
The
paintings
most.
in there I could have, you know, I think there were 3 paintings in the show at Whitechapel that were very hard for me to see again, because I was just like, these are not very good. But
they didn't make it here.
they got cut from the show. I don't know if that had to do with us cutting them, or did I want them cut, or the lenders wanted them back. I can't remember. The blue ones? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah.
They didn't make it.
They didn't make it.
But 2 paintings that did make it to this show that weren't in prior shows,
Yeah,
another
there's some
Another
new
Green
ones.
World was not in the prior shows.
It wasn't. And then the one with the men on top of the skyscraper with the like piles all around them, that was not in the last show. There's a bunch of new work in the show, and there's a new painting. There's 2 new paintings in the show. It's next to the abolitionist in the park painting. It's got a kind of a green pig soldier. That's a new painting.
The Visitors.
Yeah,
And
and the portraits. There's a wall of portraits. Those are new.
yeah,
You're in that wall.
I am in that wall.
You are in the wall. What do you think of that portrait? I had a hard time. I don't know.
mean-
My problem with portraiture is I want to make it look like the person a little bit. I do. I try for that, and it trips me up. It's very hard. Because when you're not trying for that, you could be really, it's like playful and fun, but if you're trying, it's like, it's hard.
I love it. I don't
like
think it
it?
looks like me.
No.
No, not at all. But
all?
No, but I sent it. But it has like the. I sent it to my boyfriend, and he was like, it looks kind. He looks kind, and so that it is you, which I thought was very
Oh.
sweet of him. And
Okay, I'll try again.
No.
No, but we can
No,
do it
I
from
think it's-
life. It might be better. I think it's better to do it from life than if I was working from a photo.
But I think you capture maybe the spirit of
That
me.
captures. Yeah, because it was like 10 photos. There were a bunch of them I had.
Yeah, how did you even-
so
I'm like, how-
mushed them all together.
So you
It's
took
like
a
AI.
because I showed up and I didn't realize there was a portrait of me, a new portrait of me in the show.
Wait, say what?
I didn't know that it was going to be in the show, so
Yeah.
I didn't, it was a surprise to me. So I didn't
Did you
sit for it.
recognize yourself?
No, but I also wasn't. Well, but I saw the label.
Oh. Okay. All right. I got you.
No, but I think but I'm curious about how you actually, you worked from photos for that.
Yeah, I did. I worked from photos on yours, and there's a painting of Pope L that I used a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hope that's not, I love the painting of me. I want to make it clear.
Okay, we can keep rolling. Yeah. You're also in Abolitionists in the Park.
Yeah.
And that one, do you think that one looks like you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like the back of it. You were wearing a David Bowie t-shirt that night, so it says Avid on the back.
Can we bring up
it's
abolitionists?
like part of your name is on your back.
And in fact, I do remember I actually kind of posed for that one because I had to take a photo of myself wearing the shirt on my back to send to you.
That's right, yeah.
Because it's normally, the shirt that I own is normally on the front, but.
Oh, funny, okay.
But I love that it's like on the back.
Yeah.
And it actually, you can kind of even tell because of the neckline that it should be the other direction.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But this is this is such an interesting, it's an incredible fucking painting. Just like, I'm sorry, this is like for whatever. Like, not that one really should judge things by like historical merit or whatnot, but you're just like, right, this is like going to be with history for as long as we do that. Right. This is more or less coming from a specific night, which I found a photo from that night today, which was June 26, 2020, and it was in the middle of, it was in the weeks following George Floyd's murder, and this is in the People's Park, as it was called, and it was an encampment that went on for some time. And it's very, just like having, it's both speaks to the moment so incredibly, and it's also just speaks both like historically and personally.
I mean, it was like early on in the encampment, I think. It seemed like there was a lot of excitement there. It felt, and just in this group, there felt like a lot of excitement because Hannah Black had been away for most of COVID. She was in London, and then she came back, and her and Toby Hazlitt were just having like some magic between them that night.
Yeah, it was the two central figures are Toby Hazlitt and Hannah Black, incredible writers, and Hannah Black's also an amazing artist. And they worked on several beautiful pieces together. And it's true, this was her first night, I believe, back in New York even. She had been away for COVID, and she saw what was happening with Black Lives Matter and was like, I have to get there. I have to
get back,
and so she found she flew through Mexico and found a way in. And we arrived at this moment, which, was, it's just, I don't know, they're...
it was it was amazing. And, I felt like Toby and Hannah and you maybe were like having this conversation, and then there was a bunch of us sitting around listening, and I was just like, I'm with the smartest people and the most beloved people, and it was just like, how lucky am I? I was just kind of listening to what they were saying because I felt like I was like being taught something that night too. And then, can you go back to that page? Because and then, I put Jasmine. We met Jasmine like a couple of nights. Well, maybe a week or two before
prior,
that.
During the riots.
Yeah, there were riots in New York, and you, me, and Ryan McNamara right here, and Sarah Nicole Prickett were walking around Lower Manhattan during the riots. Like Sarah and I cabbed into the city to meet you guys because we were like, let's go see the riots, let's go to the riots. Show up for the riots. And then we found you, and we were like, there was like a barricade of police officers I think in my memory of them as on horses, but they were probably on bicycles. You see, I'm mixing up like the riots in Tompkins Square Park in the 90s where they were on horseback and literally beating people with nightsticks from horseback, like on Avenue A. It was the most insane thing. But But anyhow, they were on bicycles, and we were like, oh, and then we walked downtown, and that's when we met Jasmine, who had just come out of the Adidas store. Actually, I don't know. Again, we're gonna edit this tape. Nobody cares.
Somebody had looted something for her.
Somebody had lifted something.
And she was
for
very
her.
excited. And I think that's the
And she was like skipping down the street with this like brand new like pink Adidas hat. And she's like, "Look what I got!" We were like, oh, "You're so cool."
And that was a very strange. I mean, that fucking time was like so potent in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, of course. So the Met ended up buying this painting, which is goes to show how, in some ways, institutions, like some institutions, found ways to try to accommodate the politics of that moment.
Yeah.
Not fully taking them on, but like they could do these gestural things.
Yeah, there was accommodations. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, which is a different tone than I think it is now with
no accommodation.
Yeah, there's no accommodation from institutions in general.
It's true. There's a kind of resistance and shutting down and self-censorship and even punishment, as you well know, for speaking out in support of the people of Palestine. Yeah, it's really different. And everybody was so, whether like institutions were authentic or not about like what was going on after Black Lives Matter and pulling in artists of colors into collections and curators, it's markedly different. It's markedly different. I had never thought of comparing those two moments. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, obviously it's an interesting comparison to make.
I mean, there's so many differences, but it is, at least experientially for me, as somebody who had to navigate those moments within specific institutions, there was, within my institution, ArtForum, a lot of enthusiasm on all sides for greeting the moment of Black Lives Matter. It was more than a moment, but and there was with Palestine and the liberation of Palestine and calls for ceasefire. It was not the same. It was the first time I met like real resistance.
Yeah.
Which is always very interesting to see where the stumbling blocks are for institutions.
Right. Like where you find the resistance is actually where you find, I don't know, the enemy. I read that quote somewhere. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like this is what you're up against. I don't know what else to say about that,
but it is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really incredible to see how artists are getting kind of like, pushed around and magazine editors fired and artists like losing shows, and it's I don't know what to say. I'm so disgusted and hurt by what's going on. It's been incredibly painful to see it and feel it. Because, I mean, I feel like I personally was threatened when I signed the letter you published. There was so much backlash from that. That was really, like, I would say the worst 3 weeks I've experienced in my adult life. Like, it was awful. Like, people, like, threatening to take, like what it felt like was my career was being threatened, and I was going to be pummeled, and that there was a group of like ultra-Zionist collectors who were like finding their way to each other and making blacklists, and a lot of artists found themselves on these blacklists. And then it's through back channels, through our galleries, that we found out that we were on this blacklist and that our livelihoods were in danger, that these collectors were going to come together, and the threat was that there was going to be these auctions where they were going to sell off, together all their work of one artist, basically flooding the market with an artist's work, thus just undermining their market, just killing it. And it's scary. It's really scary. It's and then you feel like you've got a boot on your throat. You really feel like you're being silenced. And I don't know, I have a lot of regrets about taking my name off that letter that I signed. But it was, it was like a torturous decision.
I mean, well, you could...
I'm angry about it still. I mean, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
I mean, I think it'd be interesting also. I mean, I don't know, how... I think, what didn't happen to me happened to you. Your job was, your livelihood was taken from you. So it's I think the thing that was threatening to me actually came down on you. And so I think we experienced something similar to a point. And then, you're on the other side of a real trauma, of having your life upended and just kind of taken apart. I won't say destroyed, because you're not destroyed by any means, but
oh, no.
Being punished by the institution for your views.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's an interesting experience for sure, and it's maybe rare in one's life that one has occasions where you face real consequences for political beliefs. I mean, there are people who face that all the time, and
right.
We face it to different degrees regularly, but to have material consequences for that, it's you're oh right, okay, this is
real.
Stakes.
Yeah, the stakes
are
really
very real,
high.
and that's of course when things really matter. Maybe. Yeah,
the stakes are really high.
Yeah.
That's what it is. What matters and where the resistance, what you're pushing up against.
I'm very curious.
It's really, and here we are. We're not at the museum. We're not at the MCA doing this talk, because the MCA asked, they wanted to do a talk, and they invited me to do a talk, and they said, pick, whoever you want in the world to talk with, we'll invite them. And I chose you because we're friends, and it's easy to talk to you. And I think it's also the world needs to hear from both of us right now, not just me, but I think you a lot. And then the invitation kind of just went away, so there's something going on there.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I didn't know the full story, or I maybe don't know the full story, but I'm very...
Yeah,
but
I don't know the full story either. I mean, I know J. Dean would have liked to have had that talk there, but I think it's beyond, it has to do with the feeling probably of the board or somewhere higher up the food chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting to potentially be a radioactive figure, if that's what the case is. So, not something I ever saw for myself. But that's cool.
Got a superpower.
Totally. And it's also cool because then you get to do talks in spaces like Co-Prosperity, which is really
which
wonderful.
is really nice. I mean, thank you guys for coming. I think it's a nice audience and nice, I don't know, just nice.
Yeah. I'm personally also really excited knowing how you metabolize moments and how beautifully you're able to transform these personal, these things that you go through and that your friends go through into a work.
Yeah,
and to see how that will happen with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard one. I mean, I'm thinking about it a lot. I don't know, I like to think in allegorical terms. I really love allegory as a device and how to tell complicated stories in symbolic form. And it has to be personal, so but this one it's tough. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on stuff, but maybe it's harder because it just feels so personal, and I'm so angry still.
Yeah. Adrian Piper, another of my favorite artists, along with Nicole Eisenman, has told me once that she makes art basically when she comes to like a point where she can't deal with it in some other way.
Who is this?
Adrian Piper.
Oh, yeah.
And so when she like hits that wall, it's when she like goes to art land basically and like does
brilliant.
something.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And to me, that's actually is often also how the kind of work that I relate to most is the kind of work that you can tell somebody has hit something that they just can't figure out some other way. Yeah. So I'm like, this is going to be fucking generative for you. I think it's going to be really great. But yeah.
That's amazing.
But because it's like so thick with just all sorts of shit, like you have to work through. You're feeling that, I'm sure. You are.
Adrian Piper knew things that, she just knew things, that one. I mean,
she's fucking smart.
She's so amazing. Hitting a wall. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's like you have to kind of put your feelings kind of aside and be able to think clearly too. I don't know.
It'll take time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the abolitionists in the park took time.
Yeah.
And I think that.
But the abolitionists in the parks, it was like, there was a community. We were all, going out to protests, and there was so much there was a good feeling at those protests. There was excitement. It was the possibility. There was a minute, not to sound totally stupid and naive, but there was a minute where there was it could be revolution.
Totally.
There's no feeling like that now at all. Now it's doom scrolling on Instagram and seeing live feed from Gaza, and we're all sort of watching it together separately, and it's really devastating, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And we're fighting the institutions that have supported, in the art world.
Yeah.
These institutions, like you said, that got behind that are not getting, there's no, so there's kind of this quiet hum. I don't know. It's
totally. Well, a lot of the tools that you lean on when you're making work and processing it, like the specific kind of, I guess, a specific flavor of community, is not, or is present, but it's just you haven't found your entrance to it yet.
I haven't found my entrance to it, and which is probably my own fault. I have to do if I'm to blame myself. But no, you're right. I think so. I mean, I painted recently. I'll tell you about a painting I made that's going on in my studio now. It's a painting of an artist in a painting. He's like, I got a paintbrush, and he's making this gesture, but he's in a hole. It looks like like in World War II, a crater in the earth. He's in a big muddy hole. The earth is all the way up past his head, and then there's a tank treads going over it. So the top of the painting is this giant abstract tank tread. And I think that's a little bit how I feel right now. It's alone in this hole, and this thing is going on. It's on top of us. It's on top of all of us. It's weighing down. But we're like, I'm like in my studio still painting while I'm watching people die. It's like, it's devastating. But I don't know how to, process it. Although I guess that's how I'm processing it. But it's, trying to figure it out. But I'm back alone by myself. There's no crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're with a crowd now,
Yeah.
and I wonder also, I wanted to leave time for questions too.
We could do that.
If people want to be brave enough to ask some things of Nicole while we have her in the city.
Or David. You can ask David questions.
Or me if you want to hear from me.
The intelligent one up here.
No. Not, that's no, what?
I mean, we also talked a lot, so maybe we already answered all your questions. But are there any questions?
Yeah, does anybody have any questions? Have we intimidated everybody in the room?
Yeah.
Oh my God, ask some questions, that'd be
But
great.
can you talk loudly so everyone could hear you? Okay.
Hi.
This is off.
It's off, so just talk so everyone can hear you.
I have like 3 questions. I think I'll pick the chillest one, maybe.
Ooh.
Earlier, you said something along the lines of like being around these people was like essential to making the work, and clearly, like the paintings that were in the beer garden and the party scene and that you were discussing. But I'm curious, like, clearly the people are in the paintings, but I'm curious if more so like how that relationship it like was helpful for you or formative for you. And I'm very curious to, along those lines, what you think about style. Like,
Think about what?
style.
Style.
Like Alex Katz talks about like style in his paintings, that there's like a sense of like
Yeah.
style,
Style.
signature, right?
Yeah.
Or fashion.
Well,
And I wonder if
yeah.
how that operates in those paintings that are very like community based, if at all.
I mean, that second question's really easy. I don't think about style. Like, I think I don't ever think about style. I mean, I think when I start making a painting, I'm just making the painting and it happens to be my style. Although I have different styles,
Well, like
as it turns out.
Yeah, in the drawing. You said that the drawing of the party like was so structured that the painting came together
Oh,
very like
very easily. Yeah.
And so, but there's like a lot of maybe I would say like different styles. That
Yeah.
like, happen there.
I mean, I
think
don't
they're
think
in the
the
drawing.
different styles, they're different approaches to painting. There are different ways of constructing a figure. Yeah, I mean, I think, and different paintings are made in different ways because different stories maybe should be told in different ways. I mean, I think the paintings have a kind of fin de cycle feel. That's part of the this weird nostalgia that's embedded in them. This like having nostalgia for this period that I really have no connection. I have a little family connection to this period, but I don't know that it's purposeful or it happens. But the first question about community, what is the question? Like,
You said that like that having like I don't know a Kate Hardy and
Yeah.
whoever else like around was like very important.
Yeah.
To making these paintings, but I don't know
how?
how.
Well,
Like,
I think it's really simple. It's like being in a crowd, like being in a group. If you're in a group a lot, you might go to sleep at night and dream about being in a group because it's on your mind. You're always in this group, I think it's like become sort of like the air that I breathe is like being in this like community. Like every night, every day, you're like bouncing around with your palos. You know what I mean? So how? I think it's osmosis. It's like whatever's in the life comes into the painting is how, yeah. I mean, so it was a combination of osmosis and then intention of bringing my friends in, like wanting to, I don't know, like having a sense of history, having a little bit of a sense of like paintings being markers and like wanting these people represented because they're important people in the world. Like there should be a painting of David, there should be a painting of Jasmine Saunders, you know?
I mean, I guess I would be interested to hear maybe in relation to that, like I see like, you're like, I don't think about style, but you do think about history and sort of art historical references and maybe even genre. And sometimes in each painting, different figures will be related to different art historical reference points.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's something about like how you like choose which, like how to filter somebody through one particular period rather than another.
I mean, if you just leave it on this slide for a second, I mean, or this one, it's fine. I mean, you know, they're not necessarily painted in different historical styles, but there is difference. There are different approaches when you see this painting in real life to how the paint is put on. So there's like figures where the paint is thinner, where it's heavier, where it's just one color, where it's lots of colors, and it's more about creating a rhythm. It's really like formalism, like how to like make a painting look good, like create a sense of rhythm where there's like different things bumping up against each other that will create a kind of like energy differences.
Totally. So it's less.
And actually, a lot of these paintings, not the beer gardens because they're much more crowded, but some of my like group scenes, I would think of myself secretly to myself, and now I'll tell all of you, that I kind of thought of myself as a choreographer. You know?
No,
because you're
totally.
like arranging bodies and you're like, it's movement.
It's dynamic. I mean, you're more interested in less.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not style. It's the dynamism and energy among the different figures for sure.
Anyhow, that's a nice question. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a question back there, and
You had mentioned the transition from drawing to painting, specifically with the looseness of drawing and like the freedom of drawing, and then how to find that in painting at one point earlier today. And I was wondering if you could speak more to how that evolution happened or changes in your process or conceptually you incorporated that.
I think really briefly, it was realizing somehow that in drawing, drawing's really easy. It's really easy to make good-looking drawings because they're always held together by the white paper, right? So there's this kind of like space that flows through everything. Like outside space is also interior space in a drawing. It's all the same stuff. It's the white paper. So that having that realization and bringing that into painting was really helpful, just that the space flows through the figure. Like everything, it's basically like learning to color outside the lines and let color flow from one thing into another thing and not adhere, strictly, like I was saying, my roots as a painter in northern Italy, like where everything's in its boundary. So it's opening up those boundaries. And I think that helped open up the painting. Just getting really technical for you painters out there. That's kind of what it looked like. Yeah.
That's cool. I love hearing about that. We have a question here. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
I just want to say I really.
Can you say it really loud?
Oh, yes. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
Thank you for a really brilliant conversation today. I've really enjoyed it. I want to go back to what you were mentioning about being pregnant and feeling like you were on the verge of losing this community and having the beer hall or the beer garden paintings kind of come out of that. And I want to know, and you can, this is kind of a choose your own adventure type question, how becoming a parent changed either your work or your practice after
Yeah. I wouldn't say, I think I got more organized. That's it. You have less time, so you have to use it really well, and I would just stopped playing chess all day in my studio online and started or reading the New York Post. That was like what I used to do that. I don't know, it was just like painting actually when I was in the studio. That's it. I mean, otherwise, the kids, it's a separate thing. I don't know. It's never really, I've painted them a couple times, but it didn't change my feeling about the world. I mean, it did, but it might be interesting to dig into that question, but I have to think about it and probably make a show around it.
Yeah, that's a really good question, though, and it's something I hadn't thought about at all until
you
mentioned it.
Yeah, it's not a big, I don't think it's a big, I think it pushed my work before the way I described, but I think once they were born, I was like off and running. I think I had figured something out about how to paint, and then I was just kind of in a sweet spot until 2011, when I hit another moment of, I don't know, I had to stop what I was doing, and that's when I started sculpture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could be a whole conversation around sculpture here,
Yeah.
but it is also interesting because at the same time, there is a marked before and after almost with George and the birth of George.
Yes,
the work
definitely.
does change.
Yeah,
Even
George brought it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I give her the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
She brings it every time.
She's such a little magical creature.
Okay, wait. I see.
Sue.
Sorry. You, yeah.
Thank you both. David, my question is for you.
Oh, hi.
What new powers come with being a radioactive element? And could you share some of your lessons learned or revelations?
Oh, great. Great question.
I'm still learning what powers there are. And I'm also still in the thick of figuring out what those lessons are. I mean, I think the power is that the power actually has nothing to do with me. It's that I became briefly a cipher for something else, and that maybe reshuffled things for some people, which was potentially helpful. It's been interesting because I think that actually in the wake of being fired, I've been less active in activism than I probably would have been if I'd remained, because it threw my personal life into a crisis that then was hard to organize activism around. So I've been more, I keep in touch, I do things, but it's much more, it's much more ancillary. But I mean, honestly, it's just been a time of personal reflection and writing, and that journey is very much I'm very deep in it. So I don't have a lot to share on stage at the moment, but I'm metabolizing it too. That's a nice question, and thank you.
Suze, did you have a question?
Oh, yeah.
As a recruiter myself, with you for years, I feel like I've known you for many years, and I just wanted to remark, first of all, on what incredible, generous act that show was for a community, a queer community, and just thank you for that. It's so nice to see it reflected with humor and terror, and it was just there's so few people that get a chance who are out dykes that have a show like you had there. So thank you for that. I really, I think we really appreciate that. And being an intergenerational person myself, I have amazing artist grads here, and they're just kind of blown away by that accessibility, and seeing that. It means a lot. So And then I guess, aside from a comment, you were talking about what you have going on in your studio now. Do you feel like this whole, because I feel really, as an artist, I feel really mad and I just feel so scared and upset. And do you think that that's having a big impact on what you're producing? And, I don't know, what is your sense of things with what you're doing now? Is that a fair, clear question? That's hard.
Yeah, no, I am like tackling the issue. I think what happened this fall and winter and this ongoing kind of crisis on the left and in institutions, like, I'm dealing with it. I mean, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out the story, like what the story is to me and how to represent it. I mean, I'm working on it. I mean, I think I will do a show that's kind of in New York that will be very much focused on this. I'm determined to. Because I think it's, I got off really easy because, I was kind of like blackmailed. And I didn't go up against it. I kind of backed away from it. But other people aren't getting off so easy. So I feel like it's worth trying to grapple with and do something. But it has to be done carefully with humor and love and, intelligence. So it's a slow process of figuring, but it's gonna happen. It'll happen next year. Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. You.
Outside of the art world, outside of, rooms full of the immediate community of people like those who are gathered here today, what is the political utility and social utility and historical utility of what ultimately are, no matter how wonderful and brilliant, luxury commodities hanging in a gallery? Like when this is what we can do and what we can contribute to human history, and it is incredible and magic and the best of us. Mm-hmm. But do you have any thoughts or like guidance or ideas on what good is it to everybody else outside of us feeling bad about seeing what we're seeing on our screens every day?
Yeah, I mean, there might not be a utility, honestly, There's just might not. I mean, it might just be, this is one possibility. It might just be personal expression, like you have to respond and you're an artist, so you're gonna make something that, expresses a feeling about something. That's it. I mean, I don't have any idea that there's anything useful about art at all, and as far as it being a luxury goods, I don't think any artist, actually, I take that back. A lot of artists set out chasing that one, but it's a very, very cynical position to take, to be making work towards a market. So I don't, I really try to block it out. I think Abolitionist in the Park was a tricky one in terms of not making it. The painting was a joy to make, but it was really hard to figure out how to show that painting and what to do with it in the marketplace, for sure. That was hard. I didn't, I really, I didn't want it to end up in a private collection. That was the main thing. I wanted to show it in People's Park, actually, And remember, Sam, the whole idea of like putting the painting up at People's Park and having an opening there? And then we would put the painting on skateboards and and carry it up to Hauser and Wirth after the opening, and they can do with it what they please. But yeah, I don't know. David, what do you think?
Well, no, I think art does not. If I approach art from the sense of it having a utility or a cathartic value, it's like it loses all meaning for me mostly. But that's not to say that that you can't mobilize it in the art world for certain kinds of institutional leverage. I mean, Nan Goldin with the Sacklers is a case in which you have somebody who was able to use her position as an artist and the fact that she was in collections and was being offered opportunities to put pressure on these institutions, and that had some meaningful effect. You know, again, it's also the degree to which it changed things is like hard to fully measure, but that's where you start to actually see utility, is when you put pressure on the institutional positions. But in terms of like something that you're showing, I think that it has, at least for me, and I don't know, I mean, it's a very different register of experience, and I just lose the flavor of so much of that register if I'm like trying to fit it into that, into like helping me out in that way or helping out the world in that way. But it's you know, a continually relevant question, for sure. Yes.
I don't think that any one painting
Can you talk louder?
Oh.
Thanks.
I doubt that any one painting or piece of art could stop the war. However, I would hazard a guess that everyone in this room perhaps feels that their life has been saved by art. I could say that for myself.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
that's beautiful. I think that's a great comment. Yeah, that's perfect.
My question kind of is thinking about metaphor and allegory and these like moments of how we do metabolize these situations and how we're processing as a maker or an artist. And I'm curious for you, you talked about your work in the studio and this hole and these like, this like trademark. I'm curious are there certain allegories and myths that you continue to cipher the world through or see the world through? And are there, or do they come, do you have these metaphors, like do you understand them and like create the image from them, or do they come to you and then that's how you're starting to understand and see and process? I'm curious about, one, what those allegories are for you now, if there are any, and two, is there a linear way that you like come to those images, or are they just happening and you're continuing to find revelation within them?
Right. I mean, when I talk about allegories, I'm not like maybe talking about like something that exists, like a piece of literature like Dante's Inferno, and I'm like taking that allegory and obviously not kind of taking allegories that are out there and superimposing my work on them, but it's a way of like constructing a story. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. You're asking how I arrive at the allegory, at the story. I mean, it's just sitting at the desk. It's really just sitting at the desk, and like, it's really hard. It's like the part of the work that's like most close to probably what it is to be a writer. It's really sucky hard work of like wringing your head and trying to think of things, and you have to kind of like look at a lot of stuff and write and draw, not writing so much, but draw a lot and find your way to think, you know, find it that way, dig around. It's not my favorite part of it, but it's like important.
Is there, I mean, there is a lot of looking involved. I think that's actually interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to, like, at some point stop looking and sit at your desk and actually just fucking draw and find it yourself. But on the way there, I do look at, like, old political cartoons or, I don't know, just strange Beatrix Potter. I don't know, like, the weirdest things come up, you know, or, like, I don't know, Giotto or something. I'll look at stuff that exists out in the world, and
I think my question is more about
yeah,
narrative,
narrative.
in the ways that allegories almost like shape and how processing like multiple narratives, right? The narrative of how certain platforms are even framing the war and even trying to create some sort of these stories and how we live by stories. And when I look at your work, there is like a lineage of stories or ways that you're almost combining, allegorical metaphors and certain things. I'm just curious about like, maybe perhaps like what that line of narrative is for you. Is there like certain key allegories that like that are characters within how you make sense of your narrative, of how you place yourself within the narrative of the community or the narrative of history, I guess?
I mean, I don't think there's any one particular, I feel like I'm still not quite getting what the question is, but I don't think there's a specific narrative. Like, are you asking, is there a narrative that gets kind of repeated? I'm also having a hard time hearing because my hearing is so bad. But just say the question, go ahead, in the mic.
I hope I can say it clear, but I'm thinking more, I'm wondering if I'm like also like projecting my own definitions of narrative and allegory and motifs, but I'm just wondering if there are like certain like frames of stories, certain motifs or characters or pieces of other stories and myths, right, that like shape the way that we can metabolize a broader narrative that we ourselves are negotiating and finding our line through. And I'm curious of if there are those narratives for you that almost scaffold your own and frame your own metabolism process. I'm also like speaking in very metaphoric terms, but I'm just curious if you have those and what those are, or do they change, or what they are now?
I think they change. I mean, I think there was a long time where I was really into like William Blake and like the way he constructs narrative and allegory in his work, and like pulling like from some of his bag of tricks. And then I read poetry, but I read it in a way that's not linear. It's more like picking through the trash or something. Not that it's trash, but like I'm foraging. That's nicer than picking through the trash. I'm foraging for bits. I mean, because often it'll just be a turn of phrase or a couple of words that can shape a work. So, I don't know, an artist like C.A. Conrad, who I think is in town and is going to do a talk somewhere tomorrow or soon. He's like a big person for me. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of ways in, but language is definitely a big one for me. Like, that's it. Yeah.
There's a whole other talk that could be about language and your use of language, because it's a really incredible part of your work. I think we have time for one more question, and it's going to be...
And then it's time for another beer.
It's going to be you, because you raised your hand first.
There's cases, right? We still have a lot left? Yes.
Okay, we'll have beer after this.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being here with us today. My question for you is, the both of you, is I hope that this is not too elementary, but thinking about the moment that we're in right now with figurative painting and the desire to label this moment as like queer figuration, and thinking about that in connection with like queer art making, queer abstraction, I'm wondering if that is a movement that both of you subscribe to, and if so, what is it about queer figuration or queer art making and practices that makes it queer beyond the artist's identity?
Me?
Well, you were the editor of ArtForum. You probably have a better overview of like art making.
That was
You've
months
seen
ago.
a lot.
I've never used the word queer figuration just because it feels like a media invention. It feels like something that's used as a sales tactic or a marketing ploy. It doesn't, I mean, which isn't to say it doesn't also describe some reality or phenomenon that's going on, but it just has felt like too marketing to me. I mean, there's so many ways that queerness, in my experience, it filters into works, both through people who feel like they're on the outsides of specific genres, finding ways to reinterpret them for each other. And of course, there's many, many, many examples of this throughout history, not just recently, of people in those zones, just working the genre to a new place. And then, of course, with you know, I mean, there are painters who paint their life, and queer life is beautiful and filled with cool people who, you know, like, yeah, of course you want to paint it and look at it and buy it, and there's some of that out there too. But, I mean, just insofar as I think queer sociality has become more, I don't know, it's just something you talk about more, and people have, there's more mainstream interest in, there's more of it, I suppose. But yeah, it's a hard, that's a big question, and it has a lot of historical dimensions too. And so I don't quite know how to answer it, but I guess I don't think about queer figuration, is what I would say.
Yeah, Ryan, you quoted me. You like, I said something, I forget everything, but you remembered something. What was it that I so brilliantly said once?
Queer art is art made by queer people.
Okay, there you go.
And one of the queer artists who we know is right here, Ryan McNamara, a really beautiful
Ryan
artist
made the
who made the video,
the video and the
in the
film,
show for the murals video.
And he's a brilliant dancer.
Incredible artist.
Yeah.
And as part of queer sociality, Ryan and Sam and I used to date all together, and that was like a beautiful moment of queer sociality. And there's some,
It's true.
and it had a lot of, you know, it did a lot in our world, you know, I don't know. There's another queer artist here, Nash Glynn, who's really amazing.
Nash Gwynn in the
I
house.
think we call out all the queer artists in the room. There's some, yeah, there's a lot, I'm sure.
Suzanne Wright, the brilliant artist.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful queer artists
Anyhow,
here.
you guys, this is great. I think we've talked a lot.
So much. Thank you for your patience. It's been...
Thank you.